Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
There he is. Hello, mate.
Oh, hello, is it? Hello. I mean, just because you're away filming and that, am I cut off? Am I dead to you now?
Mate, look, it's been a busy week. Let's put it that way.
I hope it has. Not a peep. Not a peep from Mr. Dunning.
Not true at all.
Dear.
But
left your friends behind, haven't you? Now onto grand things.
No, it's lovely to see your mug, mate, which is not something I ever thought I'd say. But yes, anyone at home listening in or watching, I am in the middle of filming finally, after things have sort of progressed, finally been able to sort of sort things out, shall we say, and actually get on a set, which is rather lovely. So yes, filming has begun for a house that Zombies built. And yeah, I'm so happy to be.
I was going to say, looking at your face, you must be enjoying yourself. It's all going well, presumably.
Absolutely loving it. But
excellent. But I'm very, very pleased, mate. Very pleased.
And it is lovely to see you. And obviously, are you locked and loaded, ready to roll?
Of course, yes. There we go.
Not to get it all over myself today. No, we're all right.
Here's the filming, mate.
Indeed. Cheers. Great to be back.
Cheers, matey.
But yeah, go on. How are you getting on? How's your week been? Been busy?
It's been a sort of workman-like week. You know, one of those you just trolling along. I've had a couple of self-tapes to do, which is great. That's always good. That's that's investing in the future, as they say. A little bit of writing, and just lots of keeping busy and keeping the work going, and all it's nitty gritty that needs to be done. But enough about my humdrum humble life. How's the Winnebago? I mean, are you getting the car to the set every day?
Only, mate, if only. I tell you what, I've got a rather attractive and intelligent chauffeur every day. I'm self-driving, of course.
Yeah, I thought you were. Yeah.
No, it is genuinely so lovely to be back on a set, working with people. Really I know a lot of the casting crew already, and it's amazing to see people be back together, back doing what I love doing, and just the future is in our hands, and hopefully we're on the way up, and just.
Well, I mean, it's a long time since you started talking about it and highlighting the lines and working it, and all that other, it's so long ago, and you think, and it's
want to get out there,
just want to do it, and like you say, that's it, onward and upward. Now it's definitely we're all right, good stuff.
And actually, I tell you what, being on set and speaking to people has given me a bit of an idea. Sorry, it hasn't given me an idea, but we were chatting away sort of in between takes and in between scenes. And I was talking about how much I love playing the role I'm playing in the film, and how it's something a little bit different, but something I've wanted to do, and just it's just fun, this role. And one of my fellow actors said to me, "So go on then, what's your dream role? Like, is there one you've kind of got your sights set on, or is there something you'd always want to do, or you've always wanted to do, or just do you have a dream role?"
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, because if you cast your mind back, and people at home, hopefully you've seen as well, back around, I think it was right at the beginning of this season, actually, we had a bit of a discussion and talked about career highlights and sort of favourite characters. You remember it now?
Top of the season, mate.
Yeah, it was. And we talked about favourite characters we played, or the best things we've done on TV, or places we've performed. And it got me thinking, and what we did then was we talked about sort of things we'd achieved and our favourites thus far, but we didn't really go on to talk about the future. So I thought what might be quite nice today and you can see where I'm going.
I know where you're going with this. So,
yeah,
okay.
It's to maybe look at what we'd dream of doing. So I don't know, something like your dream musical role, or a venue that you've had your sights set on, and once you get to perform there, that's kind of like you've hit the pinnacle. Or I don't know, like a certain show that to you is the Holy Grail, one that you always wanted to do. So what's that look for?
Actually, that of course would be
what?
You're not going to speak to me after this, but I gotta say it now. I thought it. That of course would be the Show-ly Grail, wouldn't it? Shall I just go? Just.
And you wonder why I've tried to avoid you this week and been busy, mate.
I am hanging my head slightly in shame,
as you bloody should. But anyway, so for the 2 or 3 people left out there still tuning in, because you've scared the rest of them off with you. I mean, I don't think that's even good enough to clarify as a dad joke. You are the punniest man I know, Drew. That's
just a Wally joke, that one, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But that aside, I thought, why don't we sort of delve in and take a step on further from our previous, back when we were talking about our favourites, and let's go on to the dreams and aspirations. So I don't know if you remember, I think what we did was sort of broke it down into musicals, plays, and then like film and TV. So yeah. I'll throw it straight at you then. What is your dream role in each of those sort of genres? Tell me what, once you do, you could say I've achieved my greatness. What would it be?
I think that there is one role I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I've seen it played by several actors, and I think it's one of my favorite roles in Shakespeare. And I'm just about there. I could just about get away with it now, but it would be Iago from Othello.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the closest I've come to it so far is that when I was at drama school, we had to write ourselves 20-minute long one-man shows around a Shakespeare character. So I wrote mine around Iago. It's just, I don't know. It's because of what he does. If no one knows a story, he's I mean, most of us do, you know, he just plays some dreadful, not tricks, but fatal revenge plots.
Frank's not gone wrong, but sort of with bad intentions, I think is like. Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, you never actually know why he does what he does to Othello and Desdemona and to Cassio and you know, you think, well, why? And I actually quite like the thought for me is because he can. That's why he does it.
Bastard.
Because he can. He is a shit. But what turns him into a shit? Not what, you know, and it could be anything. And I've always had that thing that, and someone said to me, oh, you want to play it because you're just like a little bloke with a chip on your shoulder. And I suddenly thought, well, whether I am or not, it doesn't matter because I'm not a little bloke with a chip on my shoulder. But I thought maybe Iago could be a little bloke with a chip on his shoulder.
Well, exactly.
I mean, I saw Bob Hoskins do it on TV, and he was just immense because he was just horrible because he could be. But he's clever and he puts his brains to things. And I think, you know, he can do it and he's bored, and that's why he does it. Yeah. You know, he's got, you know, he says, yeah, I'm all these things, but I will, you know, screw everyone apart. So that's my dream role. Not because of that, but just, and also it's one of the wordiest roles in Shakespeare as well. So it's a huge.
Set your sights high, of course.
Yeah.
So that's your play role then.
That would be the play
in a straight play.
Musical.
Yeah.
One of my very favourite musicals is Oliver, and I would love to play Fagin in that.
Yeah.
So I think I could grow into that. I'm a tiny bit young for Oliver, maybe a tiny bit young for Dodger, but yeah, no, I'd love to play Fagin. I just think it's one of those. I mean, you see that, and no one's. I've never seen a bad performance of Fagin because it's all there. It's just delicious and beautiful songs.
A full character to play.
Yeah,
so much on offer. You can just go for it. So, Okay, so that's your theatre side of things. What about TV and film?
Well, I think I said ages ago that I love natural history. So on telly, it's not a role per se, but I would love to be a natural history presenter.
Yeah,
I would love that. I mean, because I love natural history, obviously presenting and that would be a great thing to do. I'd love to do that. Whereas I get, just two things I love: being on television and natural history. And I mean, when they have sort of spring watch, summer watch, autumn watch on, and I watch and I go, yeah, I'd stand on the side of a hill in Wales with beautiful scenery or rain rushing down or whatever, and do that. Yeah, or a role in a nice long running sitcom, like Only Fools and Horses, or a good sitcom role that everybody sort of goes, yeah, we love that character. And to try and create a classic like David Jason and John Cleese and Nick Lyndhurst and all those people, and Ronnie Barker and all those people that created those classic. I'd love to be, I don't necessarily have to create the classic, but in one.
Yeah. Part of the team, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And go, yeah, it's like Trigger. I was thinking about Roger Lloyd Pack the other day and thinking about, there he was. I mean, he created two great roles as Trigger and the Vicar of Dibley, and he was known to have been in two beautiful, wonderful sitcoms that everybody loves. Yeah. You think, isn't it nice to have achieved that in your life? To be associated with something so good.
Yeah, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And what about got a sort of a movie role in mind, or?
I can't think of a role. I mean, you're going to go, yeah, you'll be exactly right, Phil. But I mean, I love fantasy films and books, as you know. And Lord of the Rings was probably one of my favorite film trilogies. So, yeah, go on, say it. Say it. You're dying now to say, yeah, go on.
I'm not going to say anything. So get down off your box. I mean, yeah. Anyway, no.
But yeah, no. That was like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, something, a nice fantasy franchise.
Yeah. Nice. I like it.
So
I would say rather different to probably the routes I'd be looking, and obviously stating the obvious, there is a fairly large age gap between us, so we are technically able to aim at different kinds of roles, which is just the nature of it.
We're probably never going to be in the same room auditioning for the same role, mate, are we?
No, I don't think we're ever going to be competing in that respect. But that's because that just gives us more chance to be on stage or on screen together, mate. So,
exactly. Mate.
But yeah, so and I think probably another difference is that when it comes to dream roles, I've been really, really lucky that I have played mine. When it comes to musical theatre, as you know, my favourite musical is Rock of Ages. My favourite character is Lonnie, who is sort of the narrator, and I was lucky enough to play him at the stage door in Southampton. And I guess that still stays as my dream role. I'd love to do it again. Obviously, I'm able to say I achieved that dream, which is incredible. But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to do it again, and I'm not striving to do it again, perhaps in a different place or bigger style or touring or whatever, but I'd still love to do it again. But if you wanted me to throw out some new ones I haven't mentioned, when I was little, I absolutely adored Joseph, the musical, and it was always one of my dreams to play Joseph in the West End or on tour. So that still sits. I'm still within the age, just about. I think I can just about.
Oh, mate, yeah.
And here's one as a sort of an honourable mention for you, and I bet this one will shock you. So I'm certainly not necessarily the build you would expect or the size you'd expect for this, but I absolutely love the role of Shrek. And I genuinely really, really love the musical. I think it's really well put together for a musical based on an animated film. So maybe one day, who knows? Maybe they can just get a particularly fat suit or something or whatever, or maybe I'll contract some disease that turns me green and I'll be ideal. Who knows? But yeah, so there's a bit of a weird one for you.
I didn't expect that. That came from left of field, mate. But I like it. I can see why you say it. It is a nice nice music, good music.
Yeah, it's just really good fun. when it comes to sort of straight theatre or plays, not necessarily straight, could be comedy, but non-musical theatre. Again, throwing back to one of my favourite, and I think I mentioned this, one of my favourite plays. I've been lucky enough to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child in the theatre, and I grew up, as lots of people did, reading Harry Potter, but was almost sort of exactly the same age as Daniel Radcliffe on the way through. And as the books progressed, although they're set back 10 years or so, I think, I can't remember exactly how it works, to when they were released. But I was sort of the age of Harry Potter as the books were coming out. Well, that's certainly how it felt. And yeah, just to play Harry Potter in the West End or wherever it happened to be, because in the play, he's in his 40s. Which is now a position that I could comfortably play. I'm certainly not going to be playing a 16, 17-year-old Harry Potter at school, but
not without a lot of makeup.
Thank you, mate. That's very kind of you. But no, so there's my play role, Harry Potter. Then film or TV, cliche maybe. Film's got to be James Bond. That's it's just got. I mean, if you're talking iconic male hero role, that's got to be. To put on that suit and tie and the gun, and that's the one. TV's a bit different, so, and I guess it's almost a little bit copycat to James Bond, but I'd probably say I'd like to play a really good role as sort of like a good bad guy, but no, sorry, a bad good guy. Basically, someone who's a good guy, or like the hero, but has that sort of bad edge and doesn't mind upsetting people or doing things against the great. So sort of a bit of a, I don't know, Jack Bauer 24, or I'll tell you what, great role played by Hugh Laurie, House MD, the doctor.
Yes.
Incredible role. I'd love to be in a series that had that kind of role, like sort of a pivotal, quite aggressive and edgy character, but good guy at heart sort of thing.
I know. Yeah.
So there you are.
A broken hero.
Oh nice. Yes, But so I guess that would lead on then. Having said dream roles, and these might sort of cross over a bit, of course.
Yeah.
But what about the show side of things or production side of things? So are they all the same for you? Because you've said Fagin and Oliver, does that mean Oliver is the dream musical, or
no? The dream musical will be the Rocky Horror Picture Show or the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, amazing! I can see it.
I love that. I mean, it's a great, and I would love to be in that. Just to have a ball. I mean, I'm down to the professor in the wheelchair, but I might be able to do riff raff. I don't know whether the voice would do riff raff, but.
I could see you in any of the roles. Go for it.
It was just I used to go to the sing-alongs.
Oh, cool.
I remember one night taking an ex-girlfriend who is not.
Just for reference, you've been married about 400 years. So
yeah.
Did you take your Flintstones car to get her there?
No, this was a long while ago, and. She said, "Oh, we used to go see plays and stuff, and go to cinema and blah." And she said, "Oh, I quite fancy doing something a little bit different." So I said, "Okay, can I surprise you?" She said, "Yes."
Sure.
And I booked us tickets to the Rocky Horror sing along.
Yeah.
Well, it was they show the movie and they sing along. So it's not like it was great. It was great fun, but everyone dresses up.
Yes.
So
that's Rocky Horror all over, isn't it? Whether
absolutely. And she said, "Is there anything I should wear?" And I said, "Go with kind of." I said I couldn't go. Yeah, if you could do the old suspenders and basking, that'd be lovely. But
well, for two reasons. Number one, because it would spoil the surprise.
Quite.
And number two, I don't think there would have been a next date.
Or we might not even have gone out that night.
Drew.
You were thinking it. But so I said, no, if you go for a sort of, sort of biker chick kind of look, jeans and she had a leather jacket anyway. So I said, yeah, So, and I turned up as Brad. So I had sort of, real preppy shirt and glasses and all that. And she sort of looked at me as much as what? I said, don't worry, we're not going to a fancy dress or anything like that. I said, well, sort of. And we got down to Leicester Square Theatre. It was Leicester Square Theatre at the cinema, Leicester Square Cinema. And because there were hundreds of people outside, dressed a la Rocky Horror. And she kind of went, and I said, right, you've got to have there's your umbrella, there's your water pistol, there's a bag of rice and everything for throwing the rice, and the water pistols for the rain. And we had an absolute ball. But there was, within the first 5 minutes, while she's watching the opening sequence, was a bit like, she had never seen the musical, never seen the film. So that, not for that reason, but it is my dream musical to be
amazing.
In. Great stuff. Yeah.
What about play?
I say dream play, because that would be Othello from.
Oh, okay, so that one carries over.
Yeah, but there's a couple of you say honourable mentions in Shakespeare. I mean, I would love to do. I think Richard III would be, and then either an old fool in King Lear or King Lear himself.
Yes.
But I did King Lear years ago and played Edmund, which is, it's just a great, deep, I think really sad play. So Othello, King Lear, I think were the two dream plays.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think.
Go on, screen. What we?
I think TV. Yeah. I'd love to do something like Midsummer Murders,
nice.
or Lewis, or again, I think it's because of those. Everyone loves them, and they're long running, and there's something
following sort of thing.
Yeah, but there's also I mean, I love sitting and watching, old reruns of Midsummer Murders right from the beginning. I sit there and go, do I remember this one? Have I seen this one? But it doesn't matter. Even this is the one where she gets killed because of this. Yeah, but I'll still watch it. Still sit there and watch John Nettles for 2 hours, or I can't remember the other actor's name, but brilliant. And they're a total escapism. I mean, there can't be many people left in Midsummer that either haven't
must keep
are alive or exactly. But no, I think it's because it is comfortable and familiar. But extremely well made. The production values on there are great, and the writing's good, and the acting is good. I think I'd be something like that. Yeah, that would be a great TV show to be in. Honorable mention: if they ever make another Game of Thrones, I'll have a go at that. But yeah,
I can see you playing a dragon, mate. I think you'd be great. Although, to be fair, you'd probably have to play an egg. So
I could be Daddy of Dragons. Let's make a remake.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I think you more suit like cuddly uncle something dragon or grandpa of dragons. But
yes.
But
I mean, again, I thought it was just a beautiful set. I mean, you are Marmite Game of Thrones. You either like it or loathe it, and I liked. And as an actor, there was so many things you think, I could do that. I could do it. You just sit there and cast
so
myself.
many bits that I'd love to do that, or I want to be involved. Yeah. What about film side of things or
film? I think a little bit like the Bond thing. I think there are some, but I mean, I think they made it, but Godfather, Goodfellas, the big gangster classics, Casino, and they're all sort of directed by the same people and got the same people in. So again, I suppose, but I love the style
kind of film. Yeah,
I just love the style, and it was big. It was great drama, and big things happened, but there weren't the huge special effects. It was done with.
It's acting talent, isn't it? It's raw.
Yeah,
it's the script and the delivery over big, impressive theatrical kind of effect.
Good storytelling as well. It was good story. The whole subject matter is huge anyway, the whole and then there's that bad thing. It's like, well, this is a film about gangsters. Should I really be liking these guys? I should actually be loathing. I mean, from the simple fact the mafia is an extremely dangerous thing in Italy, and quite horrible, and what they do is dreadful. but yeah, you watch there and you're rooting for Al Pacino and not the cops. You know, you think this is wrong somehow, but the glamour of that of the crime, I think, is, you know. So right, so again, bat it back to yourself.
Go
What's
on
your dream?
You'll probably guess half of mine again. So dream musical. I when I think about it, I guess my feeling is that it needs to be something that you'd want to be a part of, or you dream to be a part of, without going, but only if I can play that role. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yes, I think that's particularly, as you were saying with Rocky Horror, there's a couple of roles within there that you'd have the time of your life playing. It's not all about that one kind of direction. No. And because of that, I'd just love to be in Rock of Ages again. And I do sound like a broken record, but when I did it before, there are so many roles within that are just fun and entertaining and got so much to them, but also the feeling of being a team and being a unit. I think just everyone plays a part, and it's just, there's no one in it that doesn't sort of pull their weight or have a good amount. There's no like bit parts that are kind of take them or leave them. And I think that as a show for me is just brilliant. And actually in the same sense, I'd love to do the Full Monty again. And obviously, again, been very lucky that I've played that before. But that's one where most of the guys in it, I could technically play a variety of characters in that. But just being any one of the main 6 characters the feeling of being part of that team again for me. So those are my dream musicals, things that I've already done, but that I dream to do again, and hopefully on an even bigger scale. So, but
the thing is though, you can always go back to things, because you might do, regardless of whether you don't play the same role again, but obviously each show is going to be different. One would hope, different company, different directors, different musical directors. So things change. So it's fresh each time you go back to it, because and I mean, I've done plays over and over again. I mean, I did a tour of the Mousetrap long while ago, and we went back, and it was maybe, yes, it's a very familiar piece, but we had recast and we went to different venues. It changed every time, so it was still a joy to do. After months and months and months, you still enjoyed it. So even something familiar can be a joy to do, a dream to do.
Completely agree. And then so my plays would be slightly different. So I'm not so sure I could do it anymore for most of the roles because of the sort of ages they're targeting. But I mentioned before, my favorite play I've ever watched is The History Boys, or one of my favorites is The History Boys, and I just love to be part of that. I mean, could play the teacher quite comfortably age-wise, but the boys, I mean, it's difficult because actually when I've seen it done before, film and play, they've actually been normally fairly old actors considering the ages they're playing. That said, the Greys and various other things would probably hold me back, but just it's such a beautiful play and so full of everything from drama to comedy to tragedy to everything that I just love to be part of the team doing that. On the flip side of that, anything made by Mischief Theatre, the guys behind The Play Gone Wrong and various Gone Wrong productions. I just think they're brilliant. And I've seen various ones of those, and I've never watched them not have an absolute ball doing it. So I'd love to be part of that. So
it's just superb entertainment, isn't it?
Oh,
superb.
God, just
theatre and
When you think they've not been around that long on such a massive scale, a few years really. Obviously, they've been going a lot longer than that, but this it's a very modern sort of, but such a unique area that hadn't really been utilized before, I guess.
No, there's a couple of plays. I mean, I suppose there's Noises Off that you see the backstage and but nobody's really sort of taken it and
not to the level they have, certainly
had fun with it. No, and had so many good ideas. That's the thing. It's a we're going to do this, and then we just keep adding. We did a little bit like it when I did the Ha Ha shows years ago, but they've really run with the ball. So
incredible. So I'd love to be part of that. And flipping to film and TV, completely different again. So film, I've said before, I'm not a huge comic book fan necessarily. I haven't sort of like followed comic books or collected them or whatever, but you cannot help but be impressed by what has been achieved with Marvel and DC. But for me, I'd love to be part of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I don't care, bad guy, good guy, just a chunky role, but to be part of one of those Marvel films, or just that for me would be incredible. I'd love it. Probably a bad guy, actually, thinking about it, not necessarily a hero. Oh, I don't know. But either way,
it wouldn't matter, would it?
No.
It wouldn't matter at all to be in something that, again, it's that beauty, it's a massive production, and the teamwork and the thought and the writing. It's just, I mean, I have to say, I'm not a fan, but I don't watch a lot of them. But when I do, I'm always mightily impressed by. You just go, this is just a great, and you can see why people go, I want my character to carry on, don't kill me off, but the progression. I think when I've done, because I do the Doctor Who audio plays and that, and you do a series, you think, please don't kill this character off. I want to keep doing this. And I can imagine that's exactly the same thing in those franchises. You think, no, you want to stay with this.
Amazing.
So,
and then TV, I guess, similar to what you mentioned before, where you were saying you'd love like a really decent, like regular role in a sitcom, like sort of a beloved sitcom. I think to be in one at all, like, and something endearing in the way that sort of Fools and Horses was back in the day, where it was very familiar to people, and then probably my sort of generation, and it's not necessarily comparable on the same levels or the same sort of global scale, but 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps for me was just, it was so familiar and so real, and it was silly and ridiculous, but there were so many elements in there that you could sort of, I can identify with that or whatever. So I'd love to be in a sitcom of that sort of style or whatever. But
just thinking about 2 pints of lager and a packet, the launch pad for those actors in that.
Oh,
I
God.
mean, if you just look at Sheridan Smith and Ralph Little and what's his name?
Will Mellor,
Will Mellor's,
Catherine Drysdale,
that 3 or 4 cracking actors that have just gone, and people, and you say it was really good because people liked that series and liked them, and there was no showing off, there's no bravadery, it was just a well-written, good, fun, innocent piece of comedy.
I was going to say they all created these phenomenal characters who were just so familiar at that point, but then went on to have these incredible careers based off that, and to be these huge other characters elsewhere, and are still going now and doing these phenomenal things. So all those actors, and Susan Nixon wrote it, I think, wasn't it? Is that Susan?
Yes, right. Yes, I think you're right.
She just, I think it was loosely based on her life, or things she was experiencing, and I think it's a huge talent to take something so real and make it a comedy series that still has like ridiculous moments and kind of, you can watch it and laugh at it, while at the same time in the back of your head going, that's quite close. That's I know where that's coming from. Yeah.
But there was reality in it. And also it was made in Runcorn as well, which have you ever been to Runcorn?
I haven't, no.
It's a bit, I can say that because I'm from Luton, so I can say,
God, yeah,
I can say Runcorn in the same way that I say Luton, and they they have my sympathy.
I lived in Croydon, mate, so I think I know.
Oh, there you go. You know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, enough of, but if we've got fans and followers in this area, our fan base has just dropped a bit, hasn't it? So, but I tell you what, talking about areas, a slight segue. What about a dream venue? So we mentioned previously about places we performed that we loved. Is there somewhere that you've got your sights set on one day?
Only because it was a bucket list, and then it was where I aimed to be. I think I would love to work at the RSC, or the National. I mean, to walk along the South Bank, over the bridge along the South Bank, and to go, I'm going to work. I think that would. I think I would be very fuzzy with joy, is all I can say. I think that would be like, just yes, you know. I would love to do that. I would love to be at the National. I mean, it is a wonderful institution, and they do fantastic, fabulous work. But just because I said what years ago when people said, well, where do you want to work then? Like we're doing now, you know, when I was a kid, and you know, I said, well, I want to become an actor. Oh yeah, where do you want to work? I'd like to be at the RSC or the National, because that was and still is probably the pinnacle of work. You know? I think it's on a lot of people's bucket list. So for that reason,
Well, of course, mate. That makes
the cafe there make a really good cup of coffee as well. So.
You've just snuck in, haven't you, just to go to the cafe? That's literally it.
Yeah.
So
mate.
Mine's slightly different in that we kind of perform there, you and I together, actually. So as you know, people at home probably know, might not know. I grew up in Southampton, and the main theatre there is called the Mayflower. Huge, great, beautiful
theatre.
And we've done sort of theatrical events there, but in the dining areas, which is very cool to be able to sort of use the different parts of the theatre. But because it's a theatre that I went to regularly as a child and grew up absolutely loving, to go and perform on the main stage there for me is probably dream. That would be. I mean, obviously, I'd love to be a leading West End man at one of the big West End theatres as well. The Adelphi, the Lyceum, and any of the Victoria, whatever. But for me, the one, if I could say one day I have performed on the Mayflower main stage, I think it's just such a nice loop, if that makes sense. So
I remember seeing when I used to go to the Apollo Theatre in Oxford to go and see Panto with my dad, where my dad worked years ago. They used to take all the kids at Vauxhall to go and see the Panto, and I remember going there, seeing the Panto, and then years later, and it was the first professional show that I ever went to see was Babes in the Woods, and I think it was Dick Emery, but I could be wrong.
Oh gosh,
but it was you know, and I was about 5 or 6, and I was just like, oh, this is just all amazing. It's just absolutely incredible. I just want to do what they're doing. I really did. That was the moment when I went, whoa, blown away, absolutely blown away. And years later, I toured, and it was the first time I'd ever been on that stage since that moment. And it was like, this is a bit creepy. This is a bit, and I was had a little, you know, I had a little bit of a moment. I thought, oh, I've kind of completed the circle almost. You know, it was so I can see exactly why the Mayflower would be, exactly why you say that. Yeah,
definitely. Go on, let's round it off then, mate. So, and I think we touched on this with the with favorites previously. But, so I'm going to go for, who would you love or who would you dream to appear alongside as a performer? Like who would you like to work with? But also, who would you like to be directed by? So there you go. There's a couple to finish us off.
Okay. Well, it may not be although it could be in a film directed by. I'd love to be directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
love to work with him. Just like boom. You know, it's made some of my favorite films. Like, you know, but an actor that I would love to work with is Judi Dench.
Oh.
Just because
Her Majesty herself.
Exactly. And there are some great and wonderful actors, but I watched her when she was on television, and I've seen her in great plays. And I saw her in the Scottish play as Lady M years ago. And I just think she, for me, plus the fact I think she'd be a good giggle as well, you know.
But I think she's probably really naughty on set. Like,
I would hope so. I mean, I only need 2 lines, 3 lines. I could deliver, I don't know, a parcel. You know, make me an Amazon delivery man or so, and deliver a parcel and just go, there we are, madam. Thank you very much. Sign the book. That's all I need to do with her, just to be. But I would love, obviously.
Just to be able to say I've shared the stage or shared the screen with royalty. Basically, she is the queen of stage and screen, isn't she?
Exactly. I mean, I'd love to do a play with her, or just anywhere. I just think but also she's so technically sodding good, you know. just sodding good at what, you know, and you know, I love her in Bond, and she takes it dead serious.
Versatile, like
Versatility, yeah, exactly. She's just great. So yeah, Judi Dench, directed by Quentin Tarantino, in a remake of the Rocky Horror Show. There you go.
I mean, I'd pay to see that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it'd be worth the money. So, mate, finish us off, director, and
so I mean, I guess I'm going to keep with the icons basically. So you've thrown one massive director out there. I'm going to not necessarily trump you, but I mean, for me, Spielberg, for what he's done, for what he produces, like, just there is no one higher in my estimation.
I think he's a consummate storyteller. Just made some life-changing films for people to watch.
I mean, I'd love to sort of delve further and look at IMDb, where they sort of rank movies, and just see how many of the top-rated ones he's been involved in. And I think it would be mind-boggling. But yeah, just one of the greatest directors of all time for me. And with regards to an actor to work alongside, I guess sort of almost, if you went for the Queen, I've kind of aimed for one of the kings, and I'd say Sir David Jason. I just think when you're looking at versatility, again, I don't think there are many better. When you look at his ability to do humor, his ability to do gut-wrenching, like, sadness, serious drama, he is one of, if not potentially the greatest English. I think
he's one of our greatest television actors ever. Ever. I really do. I think you're right. He'll be remembered for so many things. He's done so much stuff, and it's always the truth, isn't it? He plays the truth. You know, you believe Del Boy Trotter, you believe Pop Larkin, you know,
Frost. We could, and was he Blanco, isn't he? Is it Blanco in Porridge?
Blanco in Porridge, yeah.
The irony of him playing an old man and then going on to play a young lad, and him and Ronnie Barker, God rest him, like, just as an on-screen pairing, just
Open All Hours was just forget genius. It. It's funny because we talk about great classic sitcoms, and David Jason's been in many of them. Open All Hours, he quietly sits there as a very, very well-made, well-crafted sitcom with stunning actors in it. I mean, that shop door used to open and just brilliance used to walk through. You know.
And so I think
David Jason, good answer.
Just to have the honor to appear on a stage or on screen with him, and potentially to learn something from him. Just mind blowing. But brilliant. So there we have it, mate. That was
wow. I like that. That's your list, is it?
Well, I think that's probably the dreams are set, and that's what we're now aspiring to. So
yeah. Okay, nice one. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, sorry. I get every week. I get to do a podcast with one of my dream actors, mate. So no, seriously, it's you know, it is a pleasure, and it is a you know, nice to sit down with a mate. And
do you know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because we are lucky enough that obviously we get to do this podcast, which is brilliant, but we also genuinely do theatre work together. And it is an honour to be alongside someone who not only is a good friend, but is also hugely talented, and to be able to have a great kind of on-stage and off-stage relationship as well.
Nice. Good, mate.
And so here we are, 25 weeks down the line, or wherever we're at with the podcast, and half a year of podcasting later, and we don't hate each other's guts just yet. So
no.
We'll keep it going for a little bit longer, and keep the shows coming as well to give us a little bit of something else.
Well, I mean, I'm back to where I am this week. I've got a couple of shows coming up next week, but a man that I can say I truly do look up to. You're back on screen next week, back on set, aren't you?
Yeah, so I got another week or two on the film. Just hoping it keeps being as fun and as amazing, and I have no doubt it will. But yeah. So really exciting stuff. And excuse me. Once that's done and out of the way, we got something else exciting coming, haven't we, mate?
What?
Well, we've got a rather exciting guest next week.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Oh, be more enthusiastic, for goodness sake. Anyway, we've
got a special guest next week. Whoopee. There you are.
We have got an amazing guest coming up next week.
I am
Trust me, people at home watching and listening, you do not want to miss next week.
I do jest.
You do.
Yeah.
But anyway, as always, Drew, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Damn, brilliant stuff.
To the ladies and gents at home, listening, watching, wherever you happen to be, thank you so much for tuning in as always. Don't forget, check out the social media and subscribe. All the details coming up or in the podcast details. But Drew, until next time with our very special guest, have a cracking week, mate.
Enjoy your week. Look after yourself, Sam.
Cheers, buddy. Ta-da.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
If you have, then please consider subscribing to our channel and you'll get notified every time a new video is released. Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app.
Please support us on other social media too. We're on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and all our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so please share with your family and friends and we'll be eternally grateful. Stay safe and we'll see you next time.